we're here to bring a new type of news show.
New insights, new styles, and new topics every day.
We are News Generation.
Bring news just for you. It's Monday, November 11th here in Seoul. I'm Song Yujin, and you're watching News Generation. Today, we're joined by Cheska Dainhong.
Happy 11/11, everyone.
And happy Monday.
Yes.
And Brooke Fritz.
Hello, happy Monday.
Happy Monday. Now, both are here to speak on behalf of those in their 20s and 30s. It's Monday, so we're going to move on to our main discussion of the day. Monday is when we talk about some of the latest topics trending among the younger generation here in Korea. And today we're going to discuss Korea's pet culture, specifically the booming pet healthcare market. Now, with more households welcoming their furry friends, there's even a popular saying, pets are born in the heart and raised with our wallets.
Yes.
So let's start by looking at how many households now have pets here in the country and exactly how much we spend on healthcare.
I think that's a perfect phrase. Literally, pets are born, I think, out of the wallet for many reasons. So let's take a look at the screen to find out just how much love you need to have in your pocket to raise our precious counterparts.
A lot of love.
A lot of love. As of 2022, the number of households with pets in Korea is approximately about 5.5 million, which means that 1 in 4 households, about 24% of the total number, have pets.
Wow.
As a non-pet owner, this is actually quite interesting. So the size of the pet market is also expected to grow to about 6.2 billion and to about 15.2 billion in about 10 years. So that's more than twice in about the next decade.
Right.
Now, in fact, according to the actual domestic pet medical expenditure, it kind of jumped to about 790,000 won as of 2023, which is almost 70% jump in just 1 year. And because we have 2 pet owners in the studio today, I'm really curious to hear if this figure actually accurately represents how much normal people spend on pet, because to me that sounds like a lot.
Well, first of all, may I go first?
Yes.
As a dog owner, I think all of our viewers know my dog Tanbi. She appeared on News Den a couple of times. I think the 70% jump is quite big, but when looking at the amount, 790,000 Korean won per year, which is about $575, that means we're spending a little more than 60,000 Korean won per month on our pets' healthcare. And I'd say that's not that high.
Yeah.
I would say that's not that high when thinking about all the checkups and medicine. That
It's like a phone bill.
yeah, it's like a phone bill. So I won't say that it's that high, but it's just based on my opinion. But anyway, going back to the stat, as Cheska mentioned, last year, the average amount that pet owners in the country spent on pet healthcare reached almost 800,000 Korean won once again. Now, healthcare is indeed a broad field. As I mentioned earlier, it includes checkups, medicine, so much more, surgery even. So, Brooke, which specific areas are we seeing the most spending?
So yes, as Cheska pointed out, medical expenses for pets in general are on the rise, and they've found that more than half of those expenses went to regular checkups and various medical tests. Much like when a human being goes into the hospital, if you have to get an x-ray or a scan, it's going to run the bill up a lot higher, and the same is true for our furry friends. Now, as a result of medical care being a much more significant financial burden these days, many pet owners are now looking to early prevention.
Right.
And the pet market has responded to those needs by putting out various products and applications that can help you detect those medical problems before they become a very expensive problem for you. So, for example, there's an app that can detect up to 10 different diseases from a picture of a urine sample from your pet. One pet food company also put out a diagnostic kit that you can purchase to find out any allergies that your pet has to up to 80 different ingredients. So all you have to do is request a kit through the app, collect a saliva sample, which is easier said than done. Any pet owner will know that. Then you send it in and you wait about a week for your results, and that can help you to avoid allergens for your pet. There's also this AI app that you can use that can detect potential diseases and symptoms just by a picture of your pet's eyes or their teeth. So really amazing technology that you can use in order to prevent these medical issues from becoming an even bigger problem down the line.
Right, and as a pet owner, Brooke, I think you'd also agree it's really good to see the advancement of such technologies because mostly our furry friends they can't really tell us that they're sick.
Yeah.
So whenever we detect that they're sick or they need to go to the hospital, it's usually when the symptoms have become really severe,
That's right.
which leads to snowballing healthcare costs. Now back to you, Brooke. I know you have a cat. You also introduced your cat several times on Houston. Daphne, he's adorable. So as a pet owner, I want to ask your experience. How much do you usually spend on Daffy's healthcare?
Yes, we've come to my favorite part of the show. I get to talk about my baby. Yes, his name is Daffy. He is turning 13 in about a month, which is crazy to me. So he is on the older side. And I will say for the first 10 years of his life, he was very robust, very healthy, didn't have many health problems. But once he hit that 10-year milestone, as you can see on screen, he started having some difficulties. He this year had a bad case of enteritis. He couldn't keep food down or water, so they had to give him an IV, and he was hospitalized for about a week. But thankfully, the vet hospital I took him to was extremely attentive. They sent me pictures and clips every single day. They gave him little huddles.
The pictures?
Yes, that's the staff there at the hospital. Look, they gave him so much attention and affection and love. So it was very high quality care. But of course, for that quality of care, you are going to have to pay quite a bit for it. And that stay ran me about 3 million won, which is about $2,500.
Really?
Quite expensive. A few years ago, he also had to get a kidney stone operation, and that was about $2,000. So these big procedures definitely cost a lot of money. And then because he has these problems now, he requires medical grade food, and that usually costs me about $50 a bag when I used to be able to pay maybe $10. So those expenses have been climbing up. But I would say if you took his entire lifespan, like I said, for 10 years, I didn't have to deal with any health problems, and you average it out, I think I probably hit the average that we talked about earlier, the 800,000 won. I think that's pretty accurate.
I see. So we've heard from Brooke, who is a cat owner. Now to you, Cheska, even though you do not own a pet, I'm sure that there will be a lot of people around you who do have their furry friends.
Yes.
So is this something that you're also witnessing?
I actually am, because as you talked about, I actually had an aunt who raised a greyhound, a dog that runs really, really fast. And my friends are actually all puppy owners. They all have a dog. So I would accompany my greyhound, George, that's the name, to the vet with my cousin. And I was honestly shocked at the medical bill.
Right.
It easily rakes up to about $100, $200, and there are regular checkups, injections you have to take, and then medicine, an overnight stay, like Brooke talked about, after a surgery, which is an extra cost. And beyond medical costs, though, there is another unexpected cost that came up. So my friend's dog also was diagnosed with anxiety disorder, because nowadays a lot of people, MZers, keep their pets, either alone in the apartment or they're caged, so they go through a lot of mental disorders too. So they had to go through a series of training sessions with a professional trainer. And there are also some unexpected costs too, like Brooke mentioned, when they get an injury or have to get major surgery as they get older, like lumps or cancers. So it was honestly an eye-opening experience for a non-pet owner, and actually very informative and educational one, because I decided that maybe I should put being a pet owner on the back burner for a while, or maybe for a long time, because I truly believe that they deserve to be treated and cared for from the owners who are responsible and who are actually willing to do so.
Right, definitely, because the examples you've given to us, they show that sometimes the pet healthcare costs, they can be over 800,000,
Very
which
much
we mentioned in the data. Right.
Which can be unexpected costs, as we talked about.
And talking about the data that Cheska mentioned once again, we've seen a 70% increase in the amount of pet healthcare costs that people are spending here in the country. So I want to ask you, what do you think are some of the main factors that's driving the growth and the increase in pet healthcare spending?
I think it's a very, very simple market equation too, an increase in demand from the people that are having pet household. Like I said, even in the studio today, a perfect ratio out of the three of us.
More than half.
More than half. 2 people are pet owners, and more advanced pet care is becoming so to other medical services. Now, apparently the hospitals are actually growing at about 100 places per year. And in a way, I truly see this as a positive sign, because it actually means pet owners are willing to learn and be educated and take responsibility for our furry friends who cannot voice their pain, right? And there has been a lot of media content too about how to train and take care of your pet, especially dogs. Like I think the one we talked about Eugene was 세상에 나쁜 개는 없다. Like there are no bad dogs in this world. I think was the title of the program, which I thought was actually very appropriate because prior to these kind of content, I would hear people just saying like, oh, it's just an animal doing its thing. Oh, it barks. Oh, it bites. It's just an animal. But I hope that on both extremes, the neglect and the pampering can be sort of smoothened out with the increase in professional medical services. But there are also some experts who are saying that the extravagance is on the rise because medical service is actually very professional and people can't really tell, do I really need
Is this necessary or not?
Do I really need this medical service? Do I really need this extra healthcare for my puppies or cats? I think it's very hard to determine when you aren't fully aware of it.
Right. So first off, the reason why we're seeing increase in pet healthcare spending is, of course, due to the growing number of households who are having pets. But I think that this also has to do with our change in mindset, the mindset of pet owners, right, Brooke?
Yes, 100%. I think there's been a shift in the pet culture here. I personally have always thought of my pet as my child, my baby, and I think that mindset is appearing in Korea as well. And so pet owners here are starting to think, well, only the best for my child.
Right.
I'm going to pay for the top of the line products for my pet. And so the pet market has picked up on this sort of humanizing of pets that's going on to the point where there's even a pet MBTI test,
Right.
which I absolutely have to take for Daffy. I'm very excited to take it. So owners in general are just becoming more likely to spend on customized care because, again, they're thinking of their pets as an individual, like a human being.
As their family member.
Exactly. So they need customized care, which is, of course, a lot more expensive. In fact, in one survey, half of the adult pet parents revealed that they spend more money on their pets than on themselves.
Wow.
And 61% of the respondents said that they do not spare any money when it comes to their pet's health and treatment. And I would say I'm the same way. I do not spare a penny. If he needs it, I will get it for him. There's also been this trend of people almost kind of showing off their expensive luxury pet products on social media. There are many famous pet Instagram accounts now. And if you look, everything is beautiful. Even their litter boxes are beautiful, right? They have cat towers everywhere and every product you can imagine. And that trend has really brought up the pet market, I think, in Korea. I think that's why we're seeing such a boom.
Right. Now let's take the time to find out more about what we, as part of the younger generation, think of or stand on when it comes to pet healthcare spending. So we're back with our small mini O or X session. So please raise the O or X sign depending on what you think. First, I believe it's right to pay for my pet's essential surgery even if it means going into debt. What do you think? 1, 2, 3.
For sure.
So O? I think it's kind of an obvious answer, especially if you have a pet. But Jessica, let's hear from you.
Even as a non-pet owner, if I made the choice to have a pet, I think as soon as you have made that promise, you have to take on the responsibility as well. So money shouldn't be an issue when it comes to the promise that I made to take care of it. Yeah.
Right, and I think that we've heard from you, Brooke, because you said that you'd do anything for
I mean, you already paid enough.
Yeah, I would agree. And we've been saying over and over, pets don't have a voice. They can't express themselves. They didn't ask to be put in a certain home. We were the ones who made the choice to take care of them. So if you make that choice, I agree with Cheska, I think you have to follow through until the end and take care of them.
And that's what makes a responsible pet owner, right? And number 2, I agree with the idea that if you can't afford your pet's healthcare spending, you shouldn't have a pet. I think this is kind of like a tricky question, but let's hear from what our panelists think. 1, 2, 3. Cheska chose O. Brooke chose O too. Now, why did you choose O, Brooke?
I think if you can't afford your pet care, I think the responsible thing to do is to simply not get a pet. As much as I wish in an ideal world you have enough love, like if love were enough, that would be amazing. I know a lot of people just want to love a pet and raise them, but unfortunately in this world you do need to have enough money to cover their basic needs. And so I would just say, if you want one, wait until you are in the right place to be able to provide for them.
What about you, Chester?
I have nothing to add. I mean, that's basically the reason that I'm not owning a pet right now. I feel like it deserves a proper care.
Right, and let's finally look at our third statement. Number 3, I think pets should have health insurance just like humans. 1, 2, 3. Brooke chose O and Cheska in between?
Yeah, in between, yeah.
Okay, so let's first hear from you.
Yeah, so for this one, I think it comes down to whether it's a private sector health insurance or a public sector. Because as a non-pet owner, if it was a government-run pet insurance, I think it would have complication with the fairness and the equality of those who chose not to have pet for the financial reasons. If it is a private sector trying to run a business for those who are having pet, I'm all for it. Yeah.
Why did you choose O?
Yeah, I think Cheska makes a great point, actually. I do think you have to address that issue. But if you are a pet owner, I think pet insurance is a smart idea. It's just like humans. We can have unexpected things come up that you might have to pay for.
Right.
I wish I had had insurance for
Yeah, me
Daffy,
too.
but I didn't actually find out about pet insurance until his kidney stone operation. And so I looked into it and I found out he was unfortunately already too old. Most of these
Right.
plans say that once they turn 10 years old,
They can't
you
join the
can't
insurance.
sign up for them, which makes sense because remember I said for 10 years he was perfectly healthy, and obviously insurance companies aren't going to want to sign up right when they start having medical issues. So if you do have a pet and you want to get insurance, look into it early.
Right, look into it early. Now, expanding our discussion to hear more diverse opinions, we also asked our viewers what percentage of their savings they'd be willing to spend on their pet's medical care, and here are some of their responses. Our first comment for this Monday is RKZLTV. I set aside about 5% of my monthly income for my beloved dog. I don't spend it all every month, but it definitely adds up over time and makes a difference. Benny D97, for me, I like to set aside up to 6% of our family budget to spend on our pet stray cats. Since we have them in our home along with 3 kittens, I would like to give them their cat food. Dorei1529 says 2 to 5%. So we've taken a look at our viewers' comments too. Now, for more on Korea's growing pet healthcare industry, we're going to invite an expert to our talks after a short break.
NewsGen wants to hear from you. Go to YouTube and search our channel Arirang News. Click Community and leave a comment down below. Make a new type of news with us.
So today we're joined by Dr. Kim Mi-hye, Chief Director at the Eco Animal Hospital in Seoul. Welcome, Doctor, to the show.
Oh, thank you.
Thank
Nice
you
to
for
meet you
joining us.
guys.
Nice to meet you too,
Yeah, thank you.
Doctor. So, Dr. Kim, our
Yeah.
first question for you is, as mentioned earlier in our discussion, we're actually seeing a significant rise in pet healthcare spending here in South Korea. So, are you also witnessing this at your hospital, and what do you think is behind this increase?
Yes, definitely. In our hospital, we've been seeing a noticeable increase in pet healthcare spending as well. I believe one of the main reasons for this is more people are treating their pets like family members. They are not just pets anymore. They are companions. So pet owners are willing to invest more their health and their well-being. Another factor is that with more single-person households and then all the others adopting pets, there's been a shift toward prioritizing their pets' quality of life. And also, additionally, advancement in veterinary medicine have brought more sophisticated treatment and then diagnosis tools. Like you guys told me that AI is something, and then stem cell like that, and then so while this is great for pets, it also means that the cost of care can go up. So as the owners seek the best for their pets, healthcare spending naturally increases.
Dr. Kim, in the studio, we've been talking about the rising cost of taking care of your cute furry animals. With these costs on the rise, many pet owners are now looking at pet health insurance. Are we seeing more people sign up for these type of insurance plans?
Absolutely. We are seeing more interest in pet insurance lately. As the veterinary costs continue to rise, many pet owners are looking for ways to manage unexpected medical expenses. So more people are starting to realize that the insurance can help alleviate the financial burden of the sudden accident or illness. Recently, we've seen a noticeable uptick in pet owners sign up the insurance plans, especially the young generation owners who are familiar with the insurance concept.
Dr. Kim, firstly, thank you and your hospital for all your work in helping to take care of our family members. One last question for you. Looking ahead, what other changes do you expect to see in Korea's pet healthcare market?
Yeah, it knows, guys. I think we're gonna see the shift to more specialized and then personalized pet healthcare. For instance, there's a checkup tailored as past specific age, breed, or even lifestyle likely to become more popular. MBTI. Pet owners are becoming more proactive about preventive care. So I believe that we are also seeing a rise in demand for the supplement, custom diets, and home care products that help maintain their pet health. Additionally, digital health technology evolves. We might see more telemedicine options for pets, making healthcare more accessible for busy pet owners.
All right, Dr. Kim, thank you so much for your insights today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Have a good
Thank
day
you.
too. Right, so ending off, pet healthcare expenses can even surpass human healthcare costs sometimes. So to help ease the financial burden on pet owners whose number we're seeing rising here in the country, do you have any advice or tips?
I think I can speak as a non-pet owner, and then Brooke could probably give an advice as a pet owner. But I really like to emphasize and stress that there are actual responsibilities and cost involved as soon as you adopt an animal. So please bear in mind that it's not like grabbing a toy. There are actual costs involved, as we discussed in the studio today. So please think twice, thrice, and many more times before actually decide to adopt them, because you will be fully responsible for them as soon as you cross that border. Yeah, and there's no going back to it.
So are always bearing in mind the responsibility.
Exactly, yes.
Right, and from a pet owner's perspective.
Very, very good advice. I would also say to just remember that you know your pet the best. And so be observant, be vigilant. Make sure that you are noticing any tiny change in their behavior, because if you bring them in early to get that checkup, then you could prevent a problem down the line. We've been talking about today, early prevention is key. And you might think, oh, what if I do the exam and it's not worth it because they didn't find anything? If that one time they find something early, then you could save your pet a lot of pain and suffering, and save yourself the financial burden as well. So just remember to pay attention. That's my advice.
Definitely. Earlier is the better. And that's all from NewsGen today, but we'll be back tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. Korea time. Special thanks today to Cheska Dainha.
Pleasure's always mine. Thank you.
Thank you. And Brooke Prince.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And thank you everyone for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow. We are News Generation.